Hi, I'm Jay, welcome to the workshop, and today we're going to be taking a look at another SIP welder, the HG2500P. Now, you might be asking, why another welder? Well, if you cast your mind back a couple of weeks ago, I posted an unboxing video of a similar welder, the 2600 I think it was. At the end of that video, I basically said that I didn't have a plug at hand, so I was going to wire it up at a later date and give it a go. Turns out, what I didn't realise is it required a 32 amp supply. Now that's a industrial type supply. You do get them domestically, however I don't have access to a 32 amp supply in the garage, so fortunately the person I got it from was willing to take it back, and I went for an upgrade. So the old one was just an arc welder mainly with scratch start TIG, which was, it would get you by, it would get you through most things. However, this, as you'll see in a second, is an all singing, all dancing HF AC/DC TIG welder, which can also do stick. So, costs a little bit more, but this will be able to tackle anything I throw it inside the garage. So, let's unbox it. So, in the box you obviously get the welding unit, which we'll have a closer look at in a minute because it has lots of different buttons compared to the other one. Also you get the owner's manual, which again is a little bit thicker than the other model. You also get a couple of accessories with this one, so we'll open up this one. So, in this box, we actually have everything we need to start TIG welding. So we have a 4-meter TIG torch. We have a quite nice button there actually, I quite like that. An accessory bag, so you've got a couple of shrouds there, a couple of electrode holders, and the actual electrode caps as well. So, rather than just giving you the one size, I've actually given you a selection of 3 sizes, which is always good. That's the torch with the normal DINS plug that we discussed in the earlier video. An extra plug for the control, and then the gas feed there as well. On the torch end, just a standard TIG torch if people are used to TIG welding. Also got a decent length of tube for routing the gas. Doesn't come with a regulator, I'm assuming because different countries have different regulators on the bottles, so we'll need to sort that ourselves. And finally we have our earth clamp with the standard DINS plug, nothing too special there. Now, like I said, this can do stick. So as an added extra, I ordered the electrode holder from SIP themselves. They actually threw it in as part of a deal, so I've got absolutely everything I need to get up and running. Just like the other model of SIP welder, it comes with no plug. Looks like it has actually been used to test them, I'm assuming. But this time I came prepared and got myself a 16 amp plug. I've also got a converter down to a 13 amp 3-pin socket while in the interim between getting a 16 amp socket welded into the garage. So we'll whip this on and we'll fire up and have a first look. amp plug fitted. Had a bit of a battle with the little grommet on the back there, but managed to get it in the end. So let's hook it up to our adapter and power it up. So, got it all wired up. I've got it plugged into my converter to a 13 amp plug. So now we're going to turn it on by the switch at the back, and we shall see what happens. Right, at least we got past that part. The old unit would trip out the same supply this is running off straight away, so this is a plus. This will run off a domestic supply. First thing you probably noticed is the fan goes flat out as soon as you turn it on. Now, a friend's unit with the exact same model runs flat out all the time. Doesn't matter if you're welding or just sat in standby mode, kind of what this is like now. I'm guessing that's been a feature upgrade on recent units, because his unit is a couple of years old now. So yeah, this is good. It can sit relatively quiet while not in use. So let's have a look at the front control panel and some of the features. So first of all, readouts. This is your amperage readout, which is obviously changed by the middle dial. And then you have your, I guess, multi-display readout. At the moment it's set to voltage, so that will tell you your arc voltage, normally when you actually arc up. It also will tell you percentage, hertz and seconds when it comes down to other settings on this graph here. Now, using the arrow buttons, you can set pre-purge, your current welding current, which will then show you the voltage, and your post-purge. At the moment it's set to 5 seconds. If you engage pulse, you get access to the peak current, pulse ratio, and the frequency, as well as all the others such as base current, and your post and pre-purge like you were before. Top left here is your AC-DC selection. At the moment it's selected to DC, selected to AC for AC welding. Simple as. Moving down, we have our mode select. So the top one being HF or high frequency start TIG. Then we go down to scratch start TIG, which I don't know why you'd use it over high frequency. I've never done, but the option's there. And then it goes into stick mode or MMA mode. Going back to HF TIG, then you have your 1-touch and 2-touch controls. So either press down and hold for the arc, or push down once to initiate and push down once to extinguish the arc. Also, you can press the gas purge button, which will purge all the lines with gas. That's if you've changed the bottle recently, or you've had a leak in the line, something along them lines. You can push that button, it'll open up the valve, and it'll purge clean gas through, so you definitely don't have any inclusions in your gas. Top right here is your status lights. That being, it's indicating the unit's on. Then you have your over temperature warning and your under voltage warning or supply fault warning. Settings change depending on what mode you're on. So at the moment we're in HF TIG without pulse on, so you're only getting access to a certain amount of modes. Scratch start, the same mode selection. When you go to MMA, you get a fixed welding current, your arc force, and your hot start. Hot start is a increase in amperage on initiation of arc, and then it drops down to your desired amperage. So, there you have it. The basics of the Weldmate HG2500P. Is it a bit overkill for the average workshop owner? Quite possibly. The only reason I went for this over some of the other models was its availability to weld an AC, which is essential in aluminium welding, which is what I'm going to be doing a fair bit of. So I weighed up the options and the scenarios and found that I'm going to be doing quite a lot of aluminium welding, so it made sense that we could have a aluminium TIG. If you're just starting out in welding, this is a bit OTT. I'd recommend some of the lower amperage units of this range, which are scratch shot TIG with the MMA inverter as well. Something around about the 140 to 160 amp range is more than enough for most welding applications. I do recommend you do start, if you are actually keen on learning how to weld rather than just stick the odd thing back together again, is learning how to stick weld. MIG welding's alright, but however there is inherent dangers with MIG that you don't necessarily get with stick, mainly being a weld can look nice and strong with MIG, however underneath the surface it's barely fused with one part of the material, which has led to quite a lot of big failures. Where stick, if it looks nice on the surface, 9 times out of 10 it's going to hold, it's going to be strong enough for the application. MIG welding is great for stuff like sheet metal work, or welding very thin material all the time. If you're going to be doing stuff like welding trailers back together, making little brackets for your car, something like 3mm up to 10-12mm, then it'd be a lot better looking at stick welding. If you're going to be very, very remote, and chances you might needing a bit of welding capability with your vehicle, we're talking quite an extreme case now, stick welding is the only way to go, because a MIG welding unit, as some people might know, is, you can get some compact ones, but to get a decent amount of amps and a decent material thickness welded, you need quite a big unit, where one of these, even a quarter of the size, would get you out of the trouble with stick welding. TIG welding, most of the inverter sticks have a TIG function. TIG's great for little tiny intricate parts, again sheet metal or materials that are quite difficult to weld with stick, like stainless and aluminium. You can weld stainless and aluminium with stick. I've done both, however it is normally a lot neater of a job and stronger of a weld with a TIG welder. So, if you have any questions, please leave a comment below. Like and subscribe if you've enjoyed it, dislike if you haven't, and yeah, keep tuned. You'll see this unit in action with a few projects we've got coming up, but until then, I shall see you later.